Hiya, this is Toshiba again. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time since I have made any videos. I did an update a few months ago about my family from Jefferson County was in Hurricane Harvey anyway. And because they were in Hurricane Harvey that happened at the end of September, they were here almost not until Thanksgiving, but like a couple of weeks until almost until Thanksgiving got here. And so it kind of changed our lives in terms of they were living here for like a month in a hotel. At first they were here for a week or so, and then they moved to the hotel, but still having left all their cars, only having a couple of cars here, having to transport them back and forth. I mean, it was a blessing to me. Every time there's a hurricane, they visit. And so anyway, my grandmother's house. What I was trying to say is that my grandmother's house had a lot of damage, about 50%. But I'll show you today and give you an update or a review of what we used, what we liked, what we may not use again, and the changes that we're making for him going to middle school, which is 6th grade. I'm not ready. I know that he is ready, and he'll be going to a hybrid homeschool, which is, again, a new journey for us. Homeschooling a couple of years ago was new, and now we're entering a hybrid program where he'll be at the school, the Christian school, for 2 days, and then at home for the other 3 with us. And so I'll give you some more details about that in the video, and then give you a review about the materials that we used this year for him, and the things that he loved, the books that he's read, and how his dyslexia is going, how we did not have him tested, but we probably need to going forward, and how his reading and things like that have improved. So if you want to hear more about this, stay tuned. So again, here is the curricula that we used this year for my 5th grader, and this was the 2017-2018 school year. So for spelling, we used Spelling UC. As you can see, he's on the 2nd book. Last year we started with Abeka, and then we switched to the Logic of English, which I really loved. He didn't really love it, but for spelling I decided to give him a little bit of a break versus the rote memorization that he memorized for a week and then forget again. And so Spelling UC, you can look them up. Plenty of people have done reviews on them. He actually really likes it. This is the 2nd book. He just started the 2nd book not long ago, but he has about another month of school left. So I did go to E. He probably should have had F, but this is our first time using it, and he really enjoys it. I mean, he loves the stories. This week he was reading about Amelia Earhart, and he knew a lot about Helen Keller. And so I'll show you some of the pages if you've never seen it of what the level is like. He's gonna, you know, they do the vowel chunks and the ending sounds, and he'll go through that. If he's done one here, you can see an example of what he has done with Orson Welles, and then he writes a portion of it on the 1st day, the next portion on the 2nd day, and then since it's getting to the latter part of school, I trust that he's reading it. I make him read it aloud to me every day, and then I don't do the dictation as much anymore, but I think it's beneficial, and the spelling has gotten better. But it was getting better over the course of time using the Logic of English as well. We also still do Abeka Academy. We only bought half of the curriculum, so I don't know if you ever used Abeka, but usually Abeka Academy uses all the subjects. It's a boxed curriculum with all the subjects. Well, they have a part now where you can buy just half of the curricula, and we did that this year because we did not do well in 4th grade with Abeka language arts. So he does love Abeka math, and it's a spiral curriculum, so you'll find that there's a lot of review. Realized that there were tons of gaps, mostly math and language. With math, we used, we first started to use Matthew C, which I really enjoyed. Matthew C Beta, which is the orange book, and he also did the pink book simultaneously to fill in gaps for in learning his addition and multiplication facts. Thumbs up for that. I need to do a whole review on. And now he's doing double up days in the 5th grade curriculum because that's how well the gaps are filled in. So I'm very proud of him. He has about a month left of school before he's completely done with this, and so I'm really happy with that. I do require him to do the tests and the speed drills because, like I said, he'll be going to school at a hybrid school, and they do a lot of testing there. Another thing that we use, we'll stick with Abeka, is he likes the videos. He loves Mrs. Ansbaugh. If you use Abeka Academy, shout out to Mrs. Ansbaugh, you're his favorite. So this is kind of like you would do at a traditional Christian school. As you can see, you learn about each subject, a little bit about each subject area in science, and then They do a lot of games in the class, which he loves to participate in. Candy draw, I think it's where they put some Skittles in a bowl, and then if you know the answer and you get it right, then you get the Skittle and your team gets a point. So he plays that along with the class. He actually enjoys it a lot. So this is what Abeka's 5th grade science looks like. He really loves it. They do projects as well. Again, I require him to do the tests. Even though I don't grade them all at the same time, I do require him to do the test. And then he also does old world history and geography. I don't think that this is his favorite because he just doesn't have a frame of reference. This is his first time having world history. So he's done about 4 years of American history, and this is his first year of world. And so he's right now, I think they're in Africa. They did China first and now they're in Africa. I said I was going to give a review. I know that homeschooling has its different flavors, and so this is school at home. This is a little bit different than like a Charlotte Mason approach and anything like that. This is really school at home. This is what he was already accustomed to from the private Christian school that he went to, and so it works really well for my 5th grader, but everything we used did not work well for my 2nd and 3rd graders with Abeka Academy. The next thing moving on is, I did say like I had 3rd graders doing Abeka. This is my 5th grader's book. Like before with the math, I just, with God's grace, I'm going to be honest with you, found a way to close the gaps. And this is another way. Another thing that we did before we realized how bad the gaps were when he was in 4th grade is use our 2nd grader's math curricula to let him watch. And then I found that when we started language 4, we couldn't do, he was way behind in that too, or just the pace of Abeka. So throughout this year, we had a hard time finding a language that worked using Fix-It Grammar. So we finished the Fix-It Grammar book. We bought the 2nd Fix-It Grammar book, and he doesn't love it like he did the first one. And so that was kind of a bummer. So then whenever my 3rd grader started to do language, I noticed that they were learning some of the real basic, I'm sorry, I could be flipping through this and not just talking, fundamentals. And you'll see the things, they do a very, what I would call a very relaxed approach to grammar. And so, I thought this would work really well for him to kind of catch him up to some of the things that he might have not gone over in a while, since using Fix-It Grammar was 1 sentence a day. So this is working really well. If you have a student who maybe just has a few gaps, then I think Abeka's 3rd grade language is perfect for that. It's very easily broken down. And so I talked about language earlier. So this is what we ended up switching to, but I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but if you don't, it's Toshiba Joy Homeschool. And I mentioned that I still wanted something more concrete for writing. And so we use writing essentials in writing, not to be confused with IEW, with all the acronyms that we do in homeschooling. But this is the level 4. I didn't know where he'd be. It's not very in depth. Like the first thing he had writing, I wish that it was just a writing curricula instead of writing and grammar. So he doesn't really enjoy this and all of the, you know, the monotony. So sometimes I just let him correct it. Only goes to, I think it's 80. So yeah, like 79 lessons. So 1 a day, or sometimes there's multiple lessons in 1 day. So this could carry you a full year if you stretch it out. But again, he hasn't even gotten to the part that I wanted him to get to, which he will soon. This month is the persuasive writing and that type of thing. Just kind of the beginnings of it. And what we plan on doing this year for summer school is going back to the IEW. It was too fast paced last year when we did it in 4th grade. And I think he's kind of built up enough confidence to go back to doing the IEW, since he will be going to the hybrid school this year where they'll be writing on their own. And the last thing that I added again in January was Wordly Wise, because I just thought, again, hybrid school in view, that he had to touch up on his vocabulary. He's only done about, I only have him do 1 sheet a day. So this would be, for instance, if there's meanings and he has to write, I make him do 5 a day. So he will have done this 1 day, and then he will have done 6 through 10 the next day in one setting. But these are the ones that take about 2 or 3 days to do, because I want him to really read. As you can see, I had him underlining answers, making sure that he's not just guessing, because he had to answer these in short answer form. And I really liked that he had to do this, because he doesn't do a whole lot of writing with the curriculum. Wordly Wise throughout the summer. We'll also do spelling UC, and he also had me purchase, I wish I had it right here, but I think it's literature through language through literature. Don't quote me on that. This summer we'll be doing completing spelling UC, doing Wordly Wise, doing IEW, and language through literature. So those are the 3 things that we're going to be doing this summer to prepare. As I mentioned before, that my child is going to 6th grade, and
like super
preparation mode for the hybrid school that my son is going to attend. And oh, the thing about that is that they only use BJU Press, and my only familiarity with BJU is that my second graders are using BJU Math on DVD. So what I am going to do, which I know sounds crazy and I don't care, I'm going to probably order BJU full package so that he'll have a teacher in those subject areas where I'm not as strong, like math. Anyway, we're excited about the new journey that we're going to take. I would say that we've had a successful year. Again, this was year 2. It was kind of like taking a deep breath, like, okay, first year was crazy. I didn't think I knew what I was doing. And from that, we learned so much. And I'm just so thankful that we kept going with homeschooling and stuck to my guns, and we tried some other. I'm so happy to be back. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, stay tuned, and please thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this one. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye. I realized that my video, I was super excited to be on again, but I rambled on and on. Forgive me, but I am so happy to be back on YouTube. Thanks again so much for watching. Have a blessed day.